Can I ask, the first question I wanted to ask was, did Sergio give you any kind of direction in terms of, did he give you the full script, or was it simply a case of he gave you your sides and told you that? I mean, did he give you, obviously without going into the ending, did he give you the whole spiel or just a small part of it?
Yeah, no, we knew everything. We knew kind of where the story goes, and I think that's what at times was what was fascinating, but at times quite difficult about the telling of the story, is that we were trying to do so, so that the film the film's in a way is made to be watched twice.
Yeah,
and we knew that in the doing of it, which sometimes kind of removes you from the scene, but then you've got to forget about that and just play what's happening in the scene at the same time. So it was, but we knew everything.
Yeah. How about you? Was that the same kind of process for you? Trying to keep out of it, or?
Yeah. I agree with George. Yeah. I think it was a process getting to understand the story and coming to grips with it completely. But that's also partly what made it so enjoyable.
Sure, yeah.
It's a challenge. It's not in the same way that you're not being spoon-fed the story as an actor, a part of the film. The audience won't get that either.
Sure, yeah.
And I think it makes it all the more enjoyable and rewarding once you do finally understand the story and its in and outs.
Yeah. Did he give you any kind of specific guidance in terms of your performance? I mean, did he point to any literature or any kind of previous performance by a different actor to kind of guide you in the right direction, or did he let you find it yourself?
One of the things that first struck me about Sergio was how much he trusted us.
Right.
He really believed in us wholeheartedly, and you felt that immediately, and so it just gives you an extra level of confidence to tackle and try and understand the character as best as possible. He respected and honoured it enough to just let you do what you thought was correct, and more often than not he did just let us do what we wanted, and at times that was a bit scary but really enjoyable.
Yeah. Was that the same experience for you?
Yeah, it was kind of down to the story is so complex that it was just about kind of navigating who our version of each of these characters were. So there was no sort of references in kind of vibe or tone outside of that.
Yeah. The fact that it's, I would imagine watching this movie, if you cut one or two scenes out of it, you'd think this is just a drama.
Right.
And then there's other scenes obviously that you feel are very much horror. For your performance, do you think in terms of genre, or is it a case of no, just this scene is what we're doing, and if this scene has a horror element to it, how do you play it where the genres are so competing, I guess?
I don't think okay, now I'm doing a horror film, so or I'm doing a sci-fi film. You just try to play to the truth of what's on the page. In the same way with what you were just talking about with the characters and what ends up happening, I don't play into that. You just play...
you play the page,
and try to make it as authentic as possible. And I think that's kind of like life, isn't it? Some days there can be quite horrific situations, and others it's a bit more comedic, but you don't play into the genre, for me at least.
Yeah. Does the same for you?
Yeah, I think so. I guess that's more for Sergio and Javi and all the guys who are
for
filming
it.
And so you're just a cog in that sort of machine of the scene, and you just need to be your cog and concentrate on what's on the page.
Yeah. What was, I guess, the most challenging or difficult scene you had to play in the movie, do you think?
It's a funny one to talk about because they fall later on, but I think it took us a while just to get the language, because it was a real dance between the way in which Sergio shot it and, as you say, this kind of many layered element to it, that understanding of kind of who we were within scenes, and then that was also reflected and kind of working in tandem with the way the film was shot, literally with the camera movements and things like that. And so I think that's something that became unconscious and we kind of got into a rhythm with, but it was like sort of learning dance steps, when you first start off, and it took a little bit to be a bit like, okay, so there's a lot going on in my head And so I think that almost at the beginning of the process was probably the hardest part, and then we found our rhythm as we went.
Yeah. How about you? Was there any particular scene that you found difficult to shoot?
I'd say there were scenes where Sergio was interested in exploring how we could communicate with one another, to allude to everything that happens towards the end of the film.
Yeah.
And that was quite challenging at times because it wasn't a natural way to communicate with another person or express yourself in a way that felt honest. And so that did get quite frustrating at times because you felt like there was a barrier there. But then actually having watched it in post-production, I actually think they cut it in a really authentic way, and it actually really made a lot of sense and was a really interesting idea from Sergio.
Yeah, very cool. Okay, I have to leave it there. Thanks, man.
Cheers.
Thank you.
You have no idea what you are getting into.
We have to tell Annie the truth.
Nothing, no one, ever will separate us.